Are you tired of feeling like you work, work, and work, and yet the money disappears as if it had legs? Has it happened to you that the end of the month arrives and you ask yourself, when did it all go? Relax, breathe, you are not alone. And no, it's not that you are bad with money. It's that no one taught us the rules of the financial game. But today that changes. Today we're going to talk with energy, with enthusiasm, with humor, and above all with patience. Because this is not a sprint, it is a marathon toward your financial freedom. And yes, I want you to participate with me. Tell me in the comments what your biggest financial mistake has been or the hardest lesson you learned with money. Let's build this community by learning together. First rule, embrace simplicity. Yes, I know, it sounds unglamorous. It doesn't sound like mansions or sports cars. But I'm going to tell you something that many millionaires apply in silence. The simpler your life is, the faster your wealth grows. Living simply does not mean living poorly. It means living intelligently. It means not try to look rich before you are. It means understanding that your current salary is not obligated to finance a celebrity lifestyle. And that's okay. Nothing is wrong. Simplicity gives you control, and control gives you power. Cooking at home, avoiding impulse purchases, using money with intention. That is not boring. That is strategic. And believe me, your future self will give you a standing ovation for every simple decision you make today. Tell me in the comments, what unnecessary expense did you eliminate and notice a real change in your finances? Second rule, avoid ostentation. Here comes the fun part, because we all know someone who buys something extremely expensive and then lives eating rice with eggs for 3 weeks straight. Ostentation is that silent trap that makes you spend to impress people who, being honest, neither pay your bills nor invest for you. And careful, fulfilling dreams is wonderful. But doing it only so others say, wow, is very expensive and emotionally exhausting. Money is to give you quality of life, peace of mind, and security, not to turn you into a walking display case. When you stop competing with other people's lives, you begin to build your own. And here I want to read you. Have you ever bought something just to impress someone and then regretted it? Come on, be honest. No one judges here. We all learn. Third rule, invest regularly. And here I'm going to be direct, with care, but with firmness. Without investing, changing your financial life is almost impossible. You can work hard, save a little, pay bills, and repeat the cycle forever. But when you invest, you break the cycle. You make money start working with you, and not only you for the money. You don't need to be rich to invest. You need to be consistent. Start small, but start now. What matters is not the initial amount, but the monthly discipline. Think about this. Every coin invested today is a small silent employee working for your future self. And tell me in the comments, have you ever invested? What was the first thing you put your money into? Fourth rule, create an emergency fund. This is the silent superhero of your finances. It doesn't appear in photos. It doesn't impress anyone. But when an unexpected problem arrives, it is the only one that truly saves you. Without an emergency fund, any unforeseen event becomes financial drama. With a fund, it becomes a simple inconvenience. That is the difference between living with anxiety and living with peace of mind. Saving 3 to 6 months of expenses is not exaggerated. It is prudent. It is like carrying an umbrella in rainy season. It may not rain today, but when it rains, you'll be grateful you brought it. Tell me, do you already have an emergency fund or are you starting to build one? Fifth rule, value your work and increase your income. This is where your personal growth comes in. It is not enough to save and invest if your income stays frozen forever. You have to grow, learn, improve, and increase the value you bring to the world. When you become excellent at what you do, the market begins to recognize you and to pay you better. Do not underestimate your talent. Do not be afraid to charge what is fair. The world rewards those who generate real value. And when you earn more and maintain good habits, financial acceleration becomes unstoppable. Now I want to know, what skill are you working on today to earn more in the future? And now, I ask you with all the energy in the world, are you ready to leave behind mental poverty and begin to build real wealth? Because this is not about changing your life overnight, but about improving a little each day with patience, with discipline, and with a smile, even when the process seems slow. Remember, financial freedom does not arrive shouting. It arrives in silence, while others sleep and you keep making smart decisions. If this message resonated with you, write in the comments, "I start today." Tell me your story, your mistakes, your learnings, because your experience can inspire another person who today feels exactly like you felt yesterday. And together, step by step, with humor, patience, and strategy, we are going to build a more stable, freer, and much calmer financial life. Now, take a deep breath with me, because what you're doing at this moment is already different. You are learning, you are reflecting, and above all, you are becoming aware. And financial awareness is the exact point where all real transformation begins. No one becomes prosperous by accident, but many people begin to prosper the moment they stop ignoring their reality and begin to face it with courage and with a bit of sense of humor. Because yes, money is serious, but your life does not have to be an eternal financial drama. Rule 6. Control your cash flow like a true strategist. It is not about being obsessive or living in fear of spending. It is about knowing exactly how much comes in and how much goes out each month. Because what is not measured is not improved. Many people say, "I don't know why my money isn't enough." But when you review their expenses, you find forgotten subscriptions, late-night impulse purchases, and that mysterious small expense that eats the budget in silence. Controlling your money is not limiting yourself. It is directing it with intention. It is telling your money, "You work for me, not me for you." Tell me in the comments, have you ever reviewed your expenses and been surprised at how much went to small things? Rule 7. Automate your financial progress. Here comes a powerful trick that many successful people use: automating saving and investing. Because let's be honest, relying only on willpower is like putting a diet in front of an all-you-can-eat buffet. Difficult, right? When you automate, you eliminate temptation. Your money is saved and invested before you have time to spend it on something unnecessary. It is like paying your future self first before your present whims. And tell me the truth. What would happen if every month a part of your salary were invested without you having to think too much about it? Write it in the comments. I automate my future. Rule 8. Surround yourself with people who talk about growth, not just problems. This is more important than you imagine. Your environment directly influences your financial decisions. If you're surrounded by people who only talk about expenses, debts, and complaints, guess what mindset you'll end up adopting? But if you start surrounding yourself, even virtually, with people who talk about investing, discipline, business, and financial freedom, your mind begins to expand. You don't need to change your friends. You need to add new conversations to your life. And here I want you to participate. In your environment, do people talk more about spending or about growing financially? Rule 9. Be patient, but don't stop. This point is key, and I want you to hear it calmly. Building real wealth is not fast, but it is reliable when you consistently do the right things. At first, the results seem small, very small, almost invisible, and that's where many people give up. But financial growth works like planting a tree. At the beginning, you see nothing, then you see a sprout, and years later you have shade that protects you for life. Patience is not passivity. It is intelligent consistency. And I want to know, do you struggle to be patient when results take time to appear? Rule 10. Celebrate every small win. Yes, celebrate. Because if you only wait until you have millions to feel proud, you will never enjoy the process. You paid off a debt, celebrate it. You saved your first emergency fund, celebrate it. You invested for the first time, celebrate it. Every small step is a victory against the scarcity mindset that tries to tell you it will never be enough. And we are not here to live frustrated. We are here to progress with intelligence and joy. Tell me in the comments, what was your last small financial victory? Rule 11. Eliminate the someday mindset. That phrase is dangerous. Someday I'll save, someday I'll invest, someday I'll get out of debt, and that someday quietly turns into years. Years that pass, opportunities that fade, and dreams that stay on hold. The perfect moment doesn't exist. What exists is the moment you decide to start with what you have today. You don't need the ideal salary, perfect knowledge, or perfect conditions. You need decision, because when you start today, even with little, you break the mental cycle that kept you waiting forever. Tell me in the comments, what financial action have you been postponing for far too long? Rule 12. Understand that wealth is silent. Poverty is often loud. Impulsive purchases, visible debts, a life built on appearances. Real wealth, on the other hand, grows quietly. No one sees your monthly investments. No one sees your emergency fund slowly increasing. No one sees your daily discipline. But you do. And that silent growth is what one day completely changes your life. You don't need to prove anything to the world while you're building your financial foundation. You need to prove to yourself that you can stick to the plan even when no one applauds. Write to me. Would you rather look rich today or be free tomorrow? Rule 13. Become the manager of your own destiny. Many people hand over control of their financial life to luck, the government, their boss, the economy, to everything except themselves. But real change begins when you take full responsibility. Not to blame yourself, but to empower yourself. When you understand that every daily decision adds to or subtracts from your net worth, you start acting with more intention. You are not a victim of your finances. You are the chief strategist of your economic life. And that changes everything. Tell me, do you feel you control your money or that money controls you? Rule 14. Protect your mental and emotional energy regarding money. This point is deep. If every time you think about money you feel stress, fear, or frustration, you'll end up avoiding important financial decisions. But when you start seeing money as a tool rather than an enemy, your mind relaxes and your decisions improve. Money is neither good nor bad. It is an amplifier of habits. If you have the right habits, money will give you freedom. If you have chaotic habits, money will only amplify the chaos. That's why your peace of mind is part of your financial strategy. And I want to know, what emotion do you usually feel when you think about your finances? Rule 15. Build a clear vision of your future. Because if you don't know where you're going, any expense seems justified and any excuse feels valid. But when you have a strong vision, a paid-off home, time freedom, security for your family, calm travel without debt, then every daily decision gains meaning. You no longer save out of obligation. You save with purpose. You no longer invest because it's trendy. You invest out of conviction. Vision turns sacrifice into strategy and effort into motivation. Write in the comments, how do you imagine your ideal financial life in 5 or 10 years? And here comes something important. I want you to smile for a moment. Yes, smile. Because escaping financial poverty doesn't mean living bitter, restricted, or stressed all the time. It means living with intelligence, awareness, and also with joy, knowing that every small step brings you closer to a freer life. You can enjoy the process, learn from your mistakes, and move forward patiently without losing enthusiasm. Because this is not just a financial plan, it is a process of personal transformation. If you've made it this far in the video, it means you're not here by accident. You're here because there's a voice inside you saying, my life can be better than this. And that voice deserves to be heard. So I want you to participate actively. Tell me in the comments your toughest experience with money, the mistake that taught you the most, or the financial achievement you're most proud of. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to read today, so they don't give up. Always remember this. Financial transformation doesn't happen in one big heroic move. It happens in hundreds of small correct decisions repeated with patience, enthusiasm, and discipline. And every conscious decision you make today is a direct message to your future saying, I'm building something better for you. So tell me, are you ready to continue this journey with determination, humor, patience, and strategy? Because if your answer is yes, then write right now in the comments. My financial change begins today. And believe me, that simple public commitment can be the first real step toward a more stable, freer, and much more prosperous life.